What's up YouTube? Scott's Skyny Tradition back with another video. Gonna do a response video today for Mike Baseball Collectors Contest. He recently surpassed 5,000 subscribers, so congratulations Mike. That is certainly a huge number, especially when you consider the niche community of sports cards on YouTube. Unless you're like an investor channel or that kind of thing. To be just as a part of the community member channel, where you're primarily just collecting, 5,000 is a lot of subscribers. So congratulations, very much deserved. And for those of you who don't know, Mike is running a contest. Basically, he is going to give you $400 to fly to the Dallas Card Show. I believe there's a show in May and a show in September. I personally will not be able to make the card shows around those times, so unfortunately I lead a pretty busy life. I have a young family, got kids under 10 years old. I work a lot these days. I work in healthcare especially, so anybody who works in healthcare can appreciate the busyness that we've all been through the last couple of years due to the pandemic and lots of other things, people leaving healthcare, that kind of thing. So it's been really hectic for me, and I do expect that will continue. So we are planning on doing a family vacation at some time, but I'm not going to be able to get away, for a whole weekend to get away for a card show. So I would much rather see that go to somebody else that can actually use it. But I did want to get on here and support Mike and his 5,000 subscriber contest. Basically, he's asking us to answer two questions. The first being, how has YouTube enhanced your card collecting? And then the second one is maybe name some people that have influenced you on YouTube along the way. And these are two awesome questions, which I love talking about this kind of stuff in the community. So I guess I first have to take you all back to when I first started to get back into the hobby. I did collect cards when I was younger, and then I probably stopped either, I want to say middle school or so, maybe late middle school. So that would have been like the late 90s is probably when I stopped collecting, or around the year 2000, somewhere around there. And then I wasn't really collecting at all when I was in college or my young adulthood as well. I did start to get back into it around 2013, 2014-ish. And what's funny is when I first got back into it, something that I found fun was getting involved in breaks. And so I did that a fair amount. I got involved in breaks. For the first year, I was kind of back into collecting. And one thing is, when you get involved in breaks, you don't realize you're spending a lot of money, and oftentimes you are losing. You're not getting anything in return at all. Every now and again you get some hits, but it's the ultimate gamble, right? Like, if you talk to people that gamble a lot of the times they will tell you about their big wins. They never tell you about all of their losses. So it took me about a year to realize that I'm never going to have anything of substance doing this, as far as collecting cards. Every now and again you get a cool hit or something like that, but at the end of the day, you're not going to really be able to build anything of substance doing it the breaking way. Now, if you're into breaks and that's all you do and you have fun with that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just not for me. I want, like, when I got into this hobby, I kind of want to make something of a collection, something that I can look back on, something that will last, because there's a lot of resources you allocate towards this hobby. I prefer not to see it all just evaporate into thin air. So I started to build my Packers registry set. That was kind of where I went with it, and I decided that I wanted to build it in high grade. So took my time with it and was very methodical about it. Sometimes I'd go, weeks or months without pickups, but I wanted certain cards in certain grades, and it helped keep me very focused on collecting. So it took me a good 4 or 5 years to build up that registry set, and to the collection that I have today. I think I finished it around 2019 or so, 2020, and which is good for me, because the prices on some of that stuff now is absolutely exorbitant. But around 2015 or so, I think it was about 2015, is when I kind of got on YouTube and I think I was looking around for maybe display ideas on YouTube, and then I kind of got the idea, well, maybe I'll just share my collection. Really wasn't seeing a lot of vintage football stuff on YouTube, and quite frankly, I still don't see a lot of vintage stuff on YouTube as far as the football community goes. But I thought that was kind of a cool role that I could fill since I was kind of doing the set anyways. Doing that Packer set is so gratifying for me, to be able to learn about all these old players. Packers are an organization that's over 100 years old, so there's a lot of different things to collect. And along the way, I just found it so rewarding to, learn about all these players and to fill those really rare parts of the set. That set goes back to the 30s and 40s for some of the rookie cards in the Packers Team Hall of Fame. So, my goal was just to help share that with others and try to get younger collectors on board with, building something of substance like I was able to build, and not just doing breaks alone, and then ending up, 5 years down the road, being like, wow, I just dropped like $100,000 on breaks, and I have like 3 cards, and only one of them is worth anything at this point. So, and so I really just wanted to try to curb that for people as best I could, before that would happen to people. It took me about a year to realize that, but other people, they probably still haven't realized that until it's too late. So, so that's how it all started for me. I just wanted to build something of substance, and I wanted to kind of share that with others, and kind of share my way of collecting with others, and also do some history stuff along the way, and just kind of share with what I look for in a card, and what makes a card a high grade versus another card, and just the different aspects of Packers history. So yeah, I started making videos about 2015, and did that for a good year or two. Some of my first videos are pretty bad. I'm not even sure that the camera is is right on a lot of those. You have like the dark screen on both sides and everything like that. But it's gotten a little bit better along the way. Not that much better. I don't have that much production quality, so to speak. But I try to do little things to make my videos somewhat good. But that's when I really started to get into watching other videos, and people were commenting on, my videos, and, that's kind of where it all started. So as far as influences go in particular, man, there's a lot to name, and please do not take this the wrong way if I leave your name out. There are probably hundreds of people that I correspond with and leave messages to and get messages from, and it'd be a lot in one video to name everybody. So I've just kind of left it to people that I interact with, still like on a weekly basis or so, monthly basis, that I still keep in contact with via text or a messenger, that kind of thing. So I do have a bunch of names here, but I just want to go back to, first I want to go back to the National in 2019. I think for a lot of us, especially they started around the same time I did, that 2019 National was just really special. There was so many people that, that's where we had the first big get-togethers and official YouTube get-togethers, and got to meet so many different people. That was just a special time for me. And if you weren't at that National, it's really hard to put into words kind of what that meant for the YouTube community, but it meant a lot. Usually, I've been told that I've been pretty good with words. I can articulate what I'm thinking fairly well, but with that, I have a hard time with that. Kind of putting into words kind of what that meant. And there's just something to putting faith in, into people outside your own family and your immediate group, and then having that be rewarding and having it pay off. That really kind of is life changing in a way. It kind of just changes your whole life experience when you can actually put faith in other people outside of your immediate group, and know that these people are all around the country, and they all would do anything for you pretty much, and it's all in the name of sports cards of all things. So that, that's just so interesting to me. So it was life changing for me, that 2019 National, absolutely. And I think a lot of you that were there would have to say the same thing. It was just very special. 2021 was special as well. But 2019 was kind of before the big 2020 boom. And so you really had the YouTube community was a little bit smaller at that time, a little bit smaller. And it was even smaller before that. And obviously the YouTube community goes way back to like 2000s, early 2000s. I'm I'm more talking about just the community that I'm familiar with, how I know it, like post 2015. But yeah, it was awesome. What else can you say about it? Had so much fun there. Met so many awesome people. Um, so yeah, just to get into some names, people that I talk with and who I admire on a daily basis. Of course, this contest was put on by Mike Baseball Collector, and he's sort of the godfather of the community in a way. I mean, you know, started the YouTube Hall of Fame, and I understand that had some controversy at times, which I find it kind of strange. But at the end of the day, it did get a lot of people watching a lot of people's videos and really stretched out like the tentacles of the web of the community. That one thing alone. So, I think Mike has a big part in this YouTube community. Just from that very first contest he put on, everything I feel like kind of took off from there, as far as the community goes. Even though the community itself was around before that, but that really made a lot of other connections that wouldn't have otherwise been made or would have taken a long time to make. Then people I talk to on the regular. I got Josh, Rated Rookie, great channel. First met him at the 2019 National. We collect a lot of in the similar way, I would say. He's a great hobbyist. Was awesome to get to go out to dinner with him at the last National in 2021. And I think he just texted me with it like a week ago. Came across a Packers card that he thought that I should have eyes on, and little things like that. We'll kind of trade back and forth. So good luck to your Duke Blue Devils tonight, Josh. Although I am still kind of mad at Duke for beating Wisconsin in the championship game a few years back. But I'll definitely be watching tonight. But yeah, Josh, just a great guy, somebody who I've kept in contact with, and really admire the quality of his collection and the way he collects and how he does his videos on YouTube, and just the way he carries himself is just a great guy. Another guy, Mark Fu 3112. Just messaged with him the other day. Of course, one of the drummer for the Foo Fighters passed away. That's his band that he follows and he's a huge fan of, and I like the Foo Fighters as well, and we're just kind of texting back and forth about that. Met him back at that 2019 National, of course, when he had that amazing 52 tops mantle. I believe it was in a PSA 6, and I think his wife had a Jordan and a PSA 10, and then there was what else did he have? There was a DiMaggio in there, I think, as well, a play ball. Just just to get to see those cards was absolutely awesome, and really, have kept in contact for 3 years since that National in 2019. So it was just another person that I keep in contact with and throw messages back and forth just to see how each other are doing. A lot of the times it isn't even sports card related. It's life stuff and current event stuff with Mark, and Andy as well. She blinded me with refractors. I throw messages his way a lot, and just about sports that are on or happenings, trades, just sports in general. We're both big sports fans. Doesn't even have to do with cards, just sports and current events and stuff like that. So love his the way he carries himself. He's just a chill, humble guy, and just really enjoy talking with him. Bob Lewis as well, same type of thing. Both big Seinfeld fans, so that we message back and forth a lot. And actually, Bob did some work up here in my neck of the woods, up in Wisconsin, this past fall, and he threw out a message, and Bob was actually able to come over to my house. So Bob is one of the only YouTubers that has actually been in my house and got to see my collection firsthand. And we got to hang out, chill, went out for dinner one of the nights, and then we actually went to the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame and took a tour of that, which was absolutely awesome to have Bob. It's kind of surreal to have these people from outside kind of in your neck of the woods in your area, but it was awesome. Bob's awesome. Met him at the 2019 National. He was awesome then, and he remained awesome in 2021, 2022. So Bob Lewis, definitely admire him and what he brings to the table. Dwayne from Ground Zero, I think he's just Ground Zero now, but used to be GZ Sports Cards. Talk with him on the phone once every couple months, just checking to see how you were doing. He's got kids as well, baseball. His kids are a little older than mine, but we talk about that a lot, and just card market in general and kind of what each other are doing. So just one of those people that I've maintained, who I haven't met in person, but I would love to meet someday. That goes for the next guy too, Dane Cartech710. Throw messages back and forth here and there. He sends me random cards every now and again. Dane is just a super generous guy. Lives out in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, I believe. And again, somebody I have not met that I would love to meet in person at some point. Then we got like George, Diamond Yard Sports Cards, messaged back and forth a lot during the Bucks and Suns finals this past year. He's a Suns fan, lives in Arizona, of course, and really appreciates the way he collects as well. He, focuses a lot on quality and really enjoyed George. Andrew Nuffsaid cards. Again, he was another guy I met in 2019 at the National, and we've kept in touch since. And just little things here and there, interesting cards we see that the other person might find interesting, or even just family stuff, pictures of what we're doing with the kids or pets or fishing or anything like that. So just a good dude I keep in touch with. Josh J. Stottlemyre, just talked to him recently actually, but we text back and forth quite a bit. He's a cool guy and amazing collection. He's focusing on primarily Babe Ruth now, but yeah, J. Stottlemyre 1, just a good dude. Not met him in person. I would love to meet him in person at some point, but he just I think it was actually his video that I watched that reminded me to do this video. So go check out his response video as well to this. It's really well done. Joey Burkett 8, a fellow Packer collector. Man, these are all great YouTubers that I'm naming. I actually stayed with Joey and Everett, Wenzel 888, at the National in 2019, and I stayed with Joey again in 2021 in Chicago. So thanks a lot to you, Joey, for basically allowing me to stay with you. I didn't know, I think it was the last National, I didn't know I was going to be able to go till later, and he certainly kept a room open for me, and super appreciate that. And see, Joey and I have actually been to a Bucks game together. We've been to a card show in Green Bay together here. That he came down for, and then the 2 Nationals, of course. So, and we talk, through Messenger and stuff like that a fair amount as well. So again, Joey Burkett is just another one. I really admire the way he collects. Bart Starr Super Collector, I think he's got like, I don't know, what is it, 200-300 unique Bart Starr autos now at this point, plus some great vintage Star as well as some other great stuff. He's just he's developed into a very patient collector, and I really enjoy that as well, because I kind of see myself as some of the same. Ed Wesker Griff, and I'll throw Mike O into that too. They're just both great YouTubers and influences, and again, met both of them in 2019, again in 2021. I follow Ed a little bit more on YouTube, but both are great guys. Ed, just because I think we have the we both follow the Game of Thrones show, and he of course collects Game of Thrones, so it's kind of what reeled me into Ed's channel. But love talking with him. I think we like harassing each other on Wisconsin and Philadelphia sports and vice versa. So we always try to keep it fun. Phil Filmington also like to harass each other quite a bit on different things, and met him again back in 2019 and again in 2021. Another just good dude that I talk back and forth with, every few weeks or a month or so, just keeping in touch. Jake, Legends Never Die. I think he actually won a contest of mine a couple years ago maybe. It was a contest that I ran. I was actually giving. I think I said I'd go shopping for the person who actually won the contest, and I actually got him a Stan Musial rookie card. I think it was 48 Bowman, and I sent that his way. So, ironically, the thing about Jake that I always remember is that he said the soda Sundrop developed around his hometown, and I thought it had developed around my hometown. And so it turns out that Sundrop actually had bottling facilities in both these towns. in the middle of nowhere where we live. So I find that very interesting. So I always remember that about Jake. Another great guy as well, who I'll message with back and forth here and there. And another guy, Brian B-Roth6. Met him back in 2019. It was absolutely awesome to meet him, and again in 2021 as well. And we maintain constant conversations. He's a little bit busier now. I think that he's made the hobby sort of his business as well. So I don't get to talk to him as much anymore, but obviously I never hesitate to message him if I need to ask him something or just to check in. But somebody I really respect in the hobby is Brian. And then Bart's Cards. Bart's Cards, I'd say, is the channel that if I had to pick a channel that has influenced me the most, it's probably his, just because he's a 49ers collector, I'm a Packers collector. We're sort of similar, and everything, except just for the teams that we collect are different. But I think we have a lot of similar collecting styles. And, he's gotten into baseball a little bit too, and I've gotten into some vintage baseball as well and basketball, so we're not just kind of pigeonholed to our specific teams anymore necessarily. But again, a guy I really respect and really enjoy the way he collects, and somebody who I stay in contact with as well from time to time. And I think last but not least here, Dave, Blue Jacket 66. What can you say about Dave? Was really awesome to meet him back in 2019 at the National, and again in 2021. We all know that Dave is one of the most generous people in his hobby, and now I'm not the only one who has received an astonishing care package from Dave. I know others have as well, but this story in the hobby just kind of reminds me of why it's so great. So Dave had sent this out to me, I think it was a couple years ago now, and I'll show it. So this is a Vince Lombardi signed check, and also signed by Dominic Olejniczak, the Packers board leader at the time and team president. So I mean, for Dave just to have this Lombardi check laying around the house, and this is not nothing. This is a Vince Lombardi signed check, and Dave sent it my way, and and also the letter that he sent just talks about being a collector and a solid part of the hobby, and that means a lot to me, because that's what I would like to be. I want to be a solid part of this community as well. So so for Dave to send this letter and this check, that's just one thing that sticks out to me. And he's not the only person that has sent something my way. I absolutely appreciate everybody that has sent something my way, but that one I think takes the cake, that Dave sent that Vince Lombardi check my way, and I still think about that. And what else can you say about Dave? I do keep in contact with him from time to time as well, and text him, but these are all people that influence me in one way or another in this hobby, as far as the YouTube community goes. And there's probably, for every one person I name, there's probably 10 others that influence me in some way that I'm just not thinking about or not perceiving right now. I think we all get influenced in different ways with everybody, even if they're not like a primary person that you watch. So I think that's pretty much everybody I have listed here. And again, of course, there is the YouTube Hall of Fame patch as well. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now that I was, got my nod into the YouTube Hall of Fame. And I know a lot of people are, they think of the YouTube Hall of Fame as kind of a joke, but to me, I really, really appreciate all of I think it was 30 some people that had to make videos to nominate me for the Hall of Fame and everything like that. So I just, the fact that there's 30 some people that would take their time to make a video to even mention your name is a big deal. Even if one person does it, that's a big deal, and you should thank them. And this person took time to call you out for something positive. Even if one person does it, it's truly amazing. So to have 30 some people do it, that's what this is a reflection of. So so I've rambled on here for only almost 25 minutes now, and I thank you for staying with me for this long. Again, Mike, congratulations on 5,000 subscribers. It's amazing. Anytime there's a contest where I get to talk about great channels and great people, I'm all for that. So again, I don't think that I'm going to be able to make those shows just because of my hectic, crazy, busy life right now. But I really hope that somebody who wants to go to this show will win this, because that's a hell of a prize, no doubt. But yeah, man, the YouTube community, it's hard to put into words what it means to me. Because it's something that almost has to be experienced. Like, I think like my wife and I will have conversations about the YouTube community, and I just don't think that I quite articulate it right what it means to me. It's just something that maybe she'll come to a national with me at some point just to kind of see what it really means. Because unless you're there, it's hard to tell somebody what the community is or what it's like. But for those of us that are in it, we know that it means an awful lot to us, and just our daily life. It's part of our life now, and yeah, not much to say about it that hasn't been said, but it is awesome. I'll say that. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys do take a time to make a video and to take part in the contest. And even if you don't want, or if you're unable to do the trip, it's just a great time to stop, reflect, and thank all the people that have influenced you to help your channel out, and to highlight the things that make your collecting more fulfilling, because certainly the community has for me. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.